I wear glasses.
No kidding.
So do I.
The whole time I thought that was really like a 3D tattoo on your face. So all this time you've been wearing glasses.
All this time.
Wow.
Oh man, food's here.
Yay. Well,
Well, I guess it's in here. So can we get started?
yeah, I guess we'll catch you guys next time.
What are you guys eating?
Can I?
Yum.
I'm not allowed to sing here.
Yeah.
You get copyright strikes for songs
don't get
and
copyright
stuff.
strikes.
Yeah.
So
all
yeah,
right.
we're having Red Robin.
Yeah. So with that, let's go ahead and just say it.
This is ILNL.
Okay, well,
Oh, you were recording.
Yeah.
Oh.
Welcome to ILNL. Most of us are in the building. We're here, doing the thing. Tim here. Chico's now in seat number 2.
Yeah, I'm not an hour away today.
Yeah, he's not on his
Greetings
own.
and salutations, everyone.
Chico,
My bad.
that's okay. Chris is in the building. And yes, I did not change the backgrounds if you watched the last episode because I'm trying to make sure that we're actually running today. So it's all good. Oh, real quick, we're in the podcast directories. It's official.
Yep.
So you can like us. You can subscribe to us. You can hit alert buttons. You can do
All the things.
All the things.
That you want
So,
to do.
you can find us on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. It's official. I'm paying the bill. So, yes, follow us. Get the show on the go. But with that, we're doing something a little different today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of podcasts, we are with I think a 3-year podcast veteran.
Vet.
Hey.
wow.
Yeah,
So-
man. You
so-
are a veteran.
So give us a
I'll
little
take
bit.
it.
Give us a little bit, Chico.
So I've known this cat since we were toddlers, basically. We sang in the kids' church choir together.
Okay.
No, he's not lying at all.
No,
Oh God.
off key and all. Well, Brian always had a lovely voice, but and
kind.
yeah, got back in touch as adults. We worked together at the big building.
At the big building.
Yeah, the big building.
Wolfram and Hart, I believe, was the name of the building.
I'll take it. I will take it. And yeah, so here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, the host of the B Signal podcast, Mr. B. Anthony.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, for those of you, Chico kind of glanced over this, and I'm gonna pick up the ball on this one. They did a show together, and it was fire. It was fun to listen to, and we just wanted to make sure that we spread the love in our culture for our content creators, and we're going to have a link to that episode in our description. So please make sure you take a listen. And without further ado, let's actually jump into what we're going to be talking about today.
So B, let me
Well,
tell you something real quick. How they thought because we had such a
'cause he's
great time
such a-
talking,
he's such a superstar.
They thinking I'm
Such
a
a diva
superstar now
now.
and gonna leave and start my
He's
own
gonna-
thing.
I didn't say
this was
that.
the beginning of his
So-
departure from the show. Like, everyone's trying to leave and get their solo careers
This is
on.
what Tim says.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is what Tim
So
says.
they were pretty much saying you're Cisco and you were going to leave the boys behind and
Yes.
Drew Hill.
Yes.
Got it. Got
Oh
it.
man, well I was thinking more Beatles, but I'll take the Baltimore reference. I can work with that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no Yoko in my life, so
I didn't know
Fair
yet.
enough.
I didn't want to. Yeah. Okay. Great.
she just had a birthday too.
Oh well, happy birthday,
I
Yoko!
think she's like 86 or
Hey.
something like that.
Yay!
Yeah.
Everyone should be celebrated for birthday. So there you go. Good job. All right, so are we ready to rock and roll?
Let's roll.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that we were thinking that was really cool was the conversation about comics and movies, how they've kind of become connected. And while we as fans of the genre love to see our favorite characters on screen, there's some who are in the professional ranks that don't care so much for comic book movies. So we figured, since we have a film vet on our panel today, that we talk a little bit about the good, bad, and difference of the medium of movies blending with comic book lore and worlds and characters, and I'll say this for me, everyone can speak for themselves, how they're getting it wrong. How this is like the evolution of movies. So let's start off with our very first. I'm trying to be nice.
Go for it, man.
So our very first a-hole of the evening.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, okay, yeah.
Thank you, Chico.
You're welcome.
All right, picking up the ball. So, okay. Who is this dude?
Now, see, that's the funny part. I love when you get
I think I know who you were about to say.
directors and all.
Roland, what?
I knew it was Roland.
Roland Emmerich. He's the most recent person to speak out.
Here's the thing, though. He started off so well, and by well I mean well, like Independence Day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that was just like, oh wow, this guy's doing things. And then we have his most recent work with the moon.
Moonfall.
That
Yeah.
no one. I just call it the moon because I don't even know how they thought this would work as a film concept.
It fell.
But like, yeah. I think.
He can't see you, but yes, the
It's
moon.
all- yes, the moon. Good job.
I already am having more fun than what I anticipated just at that moment right there.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
don't even know what happened, but it's
Don't
fine.
worry, you will
Boys and girls,
see.
I'm
You will
pointing
see.
to
I will
and
see.
It'll work. It'll work out. It'll be great.
It's hard for directors to understand that, in my opinion, when the industry is moving, and it's leaving you behind, and you don't have an outlet to be applauded or appreciated, we do what humans do. We start bitching, and so with that in mind, it's easy to say, well, it's the comic book movie's fault that my film that had no script or story or plot or characterization
I love it.
or it's not me,
Right.
it's Kevin
everybody
Feige's
else.
fault. I think it's sad, it's unfortunate. It's a waste of time though, because whether you like it or not, Spider-Man No Way Home is still putting butts in seats to this day.
Didn't
Man.
it just beat out Avatar?
It beat out
Yeah.
Avatar. Yeah.
For the domestic box office,
Domestic,
not
yeah.
for the international.
It's coming though. It's coming.
Please don't get Mr. Cameron upset. He doesn't like things like that.
Like
It took him months before he acknowledged Avengers Endgame. So
Yeah. I'm it's funny. Like whenever I see any of the directors that are speaking up against any of these movies, I have to kind of look at their body of work and see like where are they coming from? What's their position? What's their stance? Like why do they feel that whatever the new medium is, it's such a tarnish on movies? And in reading this particular article that we have here from Deadline, I'm trying to find out what he's done. So if I could be brought up to speed, I'll.
And see, with him, I don't understand because, like Brian said, he did Independence Day.
Is that the only movie? He has to have done more than
No,
that.
he has Day After Tomorrow, Godzilla. He did the sequel
Okay.
to Independence Day. So
So he's in
You
the
know,
Michael Bay camp of types of
yeah,
people.
he's that era where like people will go to the movies and then be disappointed, but by then it's too late because I've already paid my money. So
Love
Now,
it.
granted, I did like Independence Day.
I did.
I loved Independence Day.
Okay.
I
So
the Godzilla movie is where he kind of like, for me, it was just like, this isn't Godzilla.
And this was
This
the
is-
Matthew Broderick one.
the Matthew Broderick one. It was entertaining, but it was just like this isn't
I mean,
what
I
I
didn't
wanted.
go to the theaters to see it, so I was
Yeah.
fine when it came out.
So, being that that's the body of work, this is my gut reaction. I feel that there's a purist thing happening with this, where it's like the way that you do action movies or adventure movies is you have everything all self-contained into the universe that it is, and with the exception of Godzilla because it was already pre-existing. Like Independence Day, there wasn't a alien movie like it at the time, and I'm not even going to bring up Will Smith, but but the whole thing with those types of movies was you went in, you sat in for whatever the thing was, and all the story was done on screen. That's it.
Right.
Bing bang boom, out the door. And I could imagine that the practicality of doing everything with practical effects and all of that probably plays into it. Being that I've been on for an independent movie, I kind of understand the culture of it. But I think where the translation of the medium is changing is the audience in this particular frame. Like, those movies are Star Wars fans. Those movies are
By those movies, you mean?
like the ones that if it's along the lines of doing like something like Independence Day. Like I feel like those fans are is that age of generation.
Okay,
Like I can see the disconnect in, trying to do
but that's what's
a
funny.
Wolverine movie.
Star Wars is some of the films he's blaming.
Oh, the dude's just dumb. Because like Star Wars is one of those movies that have set the tone for other movies. Whatever, this dude's, I don't know. But
I think what it is just him realizing that studios, he's not mad at the genre, in my opinion. I think he's mad at how studio heads are seeing where the money is. And right now, the money is with IPs. So whether that's comic books, whether that's video games, I wouldn't be surprised within the next 5 years, you're going to see more live action anime trying to make its way to the screen
Oh
because
God!
Netflix definitely got the thing on that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're starting to learn that it's better to just get the ones that were already made
Exactly.
overseas and just bring them over.
pretty much
Yeah.
just like arbitrage
then-
country.
Right, because you have
They need to make them good though.
you have their version of Death Note, which was horrible.
That was not
Right,
good.
like
And then you have Full Metal Alchemist, which they brought from overseas, which was glorious. So
I still haven't watched that.
Okay, I need to watch that one then because, like I saw the original Death Note live
Right.
action movie, and I live for that. Like
Yeah, the overseas
yeah,
one.
Yeah, I've seen. Was it how many of them were there? There was
I don't know.
2 of them, I think. There might have been 2 or 3 of
Two
them.
or three.
2 or 3 of those. But as far as the Netflix version, it was just like I watched it because I'm a Death Note fan. But yeah, no, nah.
This is a question I'll throw out to everybody because it just kind of dawned on me. Like, these particular movies fit within the disaster movies. So, could you actually see a director like this be objective to comic book movies when the subject matter that they put on screen,
Is the Earth is about to end?
right?
and
It's some
everything is-
some kaiju's coming to like smash down a building. Like, I don't know. It feels like
you
the person's
mean like
kind
the
of
way superhero movies are basically disaster movies?
it could be.
Let's call it
Well-
what it is. He's upset because he hasn't gotten a phone call for DC or Marvel.
there it is.
Well,
There it is. Simply put. Also, I think too, if they're really paying attention, a lot of the comic book, especially with Marvel, they're paying homage to whatever came before. If you look at Winter Soldier, all you see is those 90s political thrillers where Harrison Ford is running through the street,
Right. Give
you
me the
know,
codes.
yeah, all of that,
Get off
and
of my plane.
uh, the Black Panther had so many James Bond esque
Oh
things that
yeah,
were
and they
there.
they straight
So
up said they're making spy thriller. That's what this is going to be.
yeah, and so I think I don't, there's there's space for them. I just think they want their turn to, play, and it'll come. I never thought Sam Raimi would ever direct another comic book movie, let alone
Me either. Me
and
either.
just looking at the trailer for Doctor Strange, I'm like, okay, this was the right move. But it took time for them to get around to him. So I think every director has it. If Scorsese wanted to direct a Marvel movie, they will make something for him to direct. Um, I now granted, I don't know if he really wants to do one, but Marvel is willing to give everyone. Heck, DC, they're they just need something good to work. But
Yeah, because they're not really known as far as their live movies. Now their animated movies are
Yeah,
great.
They have that on lock.
Their
it's
animated movies are great,
mind-boggling.
but I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Complete night and day.
And it's not it's it's not the writing because they're writing. Well, I mean, the anime writings are great. So it's like, can we not translate that over to a live movie, or
Depends
I
on the characters.
what's the disconnect?
yeah, I think with DC, and I love DC, as you guys saw or see.
Yeah,
Um,
Exactly.
um, I love them, but I think A, they don't have a Feige. That's problem number one.
mm,
And B, Marvel has changed the game so much because you have to remember for a long time they were just making one of the few studios that were making comic book films. And by comic book I mean Batman films.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
after the Dark Knight, that's where the pivot kind of happened because same year the Dark Knight came out, Iron Man came out, and that was kind of like the shift when everything changed. And so they kind of saw what Marvel did and felt. I think their biggest mistake was trying to outdo Marvel instead of just continuing to do their own thing. They had a formula,
Yep.
and then when they started getting involved with the directors and trying to control what that was, um, I think they shot themselves in the foot, and I don't know if they can come back from that. I'm not impressed with Black Adam. First of all, um, it's The Rock. Like, no offense, but it's The Rock, so I just feel
Uh,
like at some point I'm going to hear, can you smell what the Adam's cooking? Just because,
Oh God, I hope he doesn't.
I don't see that. I see them doing the signature wrestling move, the rock bottom, but I don't see.
I don't see any of that. And I don't mind the tangent because this is actually kind of fun.
As a joke, it would be great. Like at
it
least
would
have
be
It,
great.
it'll be a,
Actually.
show him
it'll
in the
be
kitchen fixing pancakes or something.
it
That
would
would
be it would be fun if there's some fan service there. But as much as he lobbied for this position,
Yeah.
that he lobbied for this particular role, because realistically, you couldn't put him in anything else that that
good.
fit DC and his particular build.
His stature.
Like he could be Superman, but then that would bring up the whole thing of a rock Superman. He could be a Batman, but then that'd be a rock Batman. I'm glad he went and said, I want to play a character that I can make my own. I feel that Black Adam gives me that opportunity. I don't expect him to go John Cena and ham it up. But
he's having way too fun as Peacemaker.
oh, Peacemaker is so much fun. But I do feel like Rocky made a good decision on this one. He might do something because I mean he can't throw a punch without it being a wrestling punch. Every punch he throws looks like he's in the ring throwing a punch at something. He can't throw a regular straight jab, a straight or jab. He has to potato his fist. It's just weird. Either way.
And like I'm trying to remember all of his movies and compare that to my Injustice video game where Black Adam is in it. And
You guys don't see Scorpion King when you look at him
I
as
do.
Black Adam?
I do. I see that.
And what makes it so bad is because they're in the same settings.
Yeah. It's all Egypt and yeah. Yeah. Well,
I barely remember.
Is it-
Scorpion
I'm
King
trying to
with
be
Shade.
hopeful for The Rock. You guys
sorry.
You guys are like
No,
sucking me down into the
I mean, here's the thing. I haven't even seen the what's it called for it.
trailer.
I haven't been excited. Like I've seen the advertisement, the
Teaser?
movie poster. No, I have not
Oh.
seen the teaser. I've seen the poster.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
showed you the teaser.
no,
Well,
no.
the
But
teaser that they
I'll
dropped
look
was
it up
really
today.
good. You gotta take a look.
Okay.
So let's wrap on this particular one because we have two other directors that had something to say, and I think as we move forward, it's really going to elevate this conversation. I think it's going to be cool. So Roland, he feels that these films like Star Wars and these superheroes is ruining the industry a little bit. I'm going to throw our guest first. Is he right? Is he accurate, or is he just making something out of nothing?
So from a financial standpoint, it's not ruining the industry. It's helping the industry. So financially, it's not. If you're talking though about the variety of titles that are at movie theaters, maybe I could see an argument, but again, it's the movie business, and that's a hard thing for creatives to accept. You know, as much as you want to do something brand new or innovative, you know, what theaters and studios want now is a guarantee that people are going to come out. That's the name of the game right now. So if you want that space to be more creative, it seems like streaming is going to be the way to go. Like Netflix, they got it. They have recruited every star and director from the 90s and early 2000s, and it's like, hey, we'll make whatever you want, and it's working, you know, for them. And they'll even give you a theatrical window for your film to have that, you know, experience. So I can see why he's saying what he's saying, but I don't. Again, it's just the industry's evolving right now, and I don't see how that can really shift outside of, you know, directors of his caliber either going to streaming or just doing stuff independent and hoping that someone will acquire it that way.
Chris,
Share your
go
feelings
for
with
it.
the group.
Go for it. Say what you got to say.
Mind the business that pays you. If your thing,
Here we are.
if your thing is, you know, the world is coming to an end. Well, I mean, no shade, like you said, that's to be found in the comic book movies as well. But if you just wanted it to be straight up, these aliens are coming, we need to do something to fight against it. You know, let's take this average person and make them a hero. That's fine. Do you? However, don't sit down here and try to run comic book movies through the mud as if they're not doing the damn thing, because clearly they are.
They are.
And they've been doing it right. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
like I say, even like, don't get me wrong, I like my best friend would be like, you know, DC's just as far as DC live movies is just trash or something. And I definitely don't see it as the same leveling as the Marvel ones, but I like them. I've enjoyed them. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, sir, have several. Have several. In your theater chair, in your film director's chair.
Chico.
Did he even have like a comic book or Star Wars movie around the same time that Moonfall came out?
Can't say that I could think of anything.
He didn't have any competition, did he?
Well, technically, the only competition he had was Spider-Man: No Way Home, but at that point, you know, that's on the decline as far as sales.
Right.
So I'm not even sure if you can call it competition, because Scream was able to push Spider-Man out the number one spot, albeit for a week, but it did it. You know, Jackass was able to do it
Jackass did
for
do it. Yeah.
a week.
And
You know,
those
so
are
films,
two separate genres.
yeah,
Would you look
yeah,
at that?
yeah. That was pretty clever. I saw what you did there.
Thank you, thank you. I have my moments.
So I'll wrap on the whole thing of Roland's thoughts. I think that yes, money does play into decision making, and when your pockets are getting a little bit light, you start looking for people to point fingers at.
Catching tantrums.
So, if that's the case, I hope it's not the case. But if it is the case, dude, just send a pitch to Netflix. They're always looking for
Right.
content. So
They're waiting. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, we'll do
Dude,
it.
go to a comic book shop.
And bring it give it life.
Right. You got Image, you got IDW. They
Yeah.
haven't been touched. Like, there's several
there's lots of
Hey,
indie
futuristic
Really
and
great
outer
stories.
space stuff that you could be doing right now.
I
but
mean,
no.
look at what they did with Spawn.
Right.
Yeah.
And what they're about to do.
Okay.
So let's move into the next director who feels that these movies suck.
I'm so excited to hear this.
Oh, you're gonna love this one.
Oh, you
So-
brought him up.
Yeah, that's why I brought it. I made sure it was number 2. So your boy,
I knew it.
Marty.
Here we are.
Marty Scorsese says that Marvel sucks. Well, he didn't say those exact words. But he feels that Marvel and the Marvel movies are not good for the system, not good for the whole thing of getting movies out. Pretty much he feels like the artistry of these movies are going down the tube because of the types of movies that Marvel and DC are producing. Like, this sounds more like the artist who didn't have his show in the gallery, and he sees that the youngin that comes behind him with the the banana and the
duct tape and banana.
Duct tape.
is on the gallery wall, and it's like, this isn't art. That's what it feels like. It feels like I want to use this analogy so badly and I can't because it's not good. I'll try to remember to say it to all of you guys later. But it's like the old person.
Give me something, a trigger word, and I can.
Hey. That's
Okay,
as good as I
got
can
you.
go.
I got you. Okay.
We'll keep it like that. Okay. So don't worry. I will bring it to your attention after we're done.
Okay.
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 So yeah. So it feels like it's the old guy who's been around the block, who's done a lot of things, and now he has a voice and wants to talk about how you're not doing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good. You picked it up. You picked up what I'm putting down. So that's what this feels like. So I'm gonna again put it to our guest to start the conversation
Respectability
off.
politics.
Yeah, all of that. So, Martin Scorsese, go.
I think he's more interesting because at least he's I feel like more aware that his type of filmmaking is on the way out, so he's not going to say anything too off. I think it's more of a conversation about new versus old. You know, it's Zoolander versus the Owen Wilson character. You know, both of you are still male
perfect.
models, but clearly one is just connecting a little bit more than what you used to. And
Great analogy.
that's a battle that's always going to continue no matter what industry, what line of work. But the funny part is that even today he's still getting Academy Award nominations.
Right.
He's getting stupid amounts of money to do what he wants with Netflix, by the way. He made like a 10-hour movie that did well for the most part.
Which I
it
still
wasn't
want to
10
see.
hours.
I still want to see it. I just want to see the de-aging in that. Because
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job from what I
He got
from what I
Joe
saw.
Pesci to work again.
Yeah.
Like, that man was very clear he's not doing anything else. And, you know, he bought him out to make this movie. So, I mean, I don't think he's not relevant, but I also feel like he grew up in a certain era of how filmmaking was. And it's kind of hard to make that shift. And to play devil's advocate, I understand it. When I was growing up, Facebook was popular. Now the kids like to TikTok, you know,
The
and
kids.
I don't
Did you
get
say
it. It's
the
not for
TikTok
me.
or
He
to
did say
TikTok?
the TikTok.
You said the TikTok?
I did. I put the article "the" in front of it.
Oh God. Oh
Are you
God.
But no,
are you
Way to age
Facebooking?
yourself, B. Way to age yourself.
I know, right?
God.
It's been happening more and more. I've just been
Okay.
embracing it. I'm not lying to myself. No. But everything changes. So either you learn how to move with the change,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're not going to move with the change, going back to what we just previously talked about, find a platform that says, hey, we like what you did and we feel like there's a place for it here in this, in this on this platform, whatever that may be.
Let me throw this at you because I'll be interested. I'm interested to hear your opinion. Actually, I'm interested to hear everyone's opinion because we're all artists. We've been in the rooms where we've had the grandmaster person, the person who's been around the block, the person who's done everything you could think of in your space, and they like to bestow their wisdom onto the up and coming and the youngers and want to make sure that the integrity of the medium is intact. The thing that I kind of find funny about cinema is it's one of the very few creative outlets where the storytelling aspect has like a ton of different ways to express the same exact thing. Like you have color that can do it, you have sound that can do it, you can have the type of cameras all these other things. It's very mechanical. In that though, we have so much new technology, so many new things to tell these stories with. Is there any type of substance to say that the core of this medium cannot be, under any condition, no matter what story you're telling, be manipulated, changed, or modified and redefined? Because I don't think it can. I think, like with anything with art, it evolves, it grows, it matures, it becomes something new, it refreshes every generation, or even a couple times in a generation. The way I've seen some movies produced now compared to the way they were, like just film looks different. And that also helps to the perfect example, Joker,
Mm.
modern movie. They made it look like it was shot in the 80s. And it looks in time. And
It's like Stranger Things.
like Stranger Things. So is there room for Martin to be the type of director to be like, cinema is this, it cannot be that?
No.
Go ahead.
Because imagine if someone said you can't do this, you can't do that. What is the movie? Sin City?
Okay.
Sin City. What was somebody said, oh, that's not appealing and da 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 da. Like, no, like I don't think I think it's only going to be in one other film, and I think it was done by the same person.
That was Rodriguez, right?
Yeah. Rodriguez, and I believe
I know
No,
Miller
wait.
had Millar had something to do with
Frank
it, but
Miller. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my thing is like there was somebody said, oh, you can't if it's black and white, it has to be completely black and white. You can't have any splash of color to it and this,
Yeah.
that, and the third.
Yeah.
Like, no, how are you going to sit down there and try to put a limit on somebody's vision just because you weren't the one to think of it? You weren't the one to come up with like if you're going to be the person in the room that's done it all and that's mastered this and the third, at some point in time you had to do something different in order to stand out in the crowd. So how dare you sit down there and
Exactly.
try to put a muzzle on somebody saying, "Oh, well, no, you can't do this. This is what film is. Film isn't this. Film isn't that." Like, no, sir. Once again, have several seats. The stadium is empty. My thing is, it's like you can.
Does Chris have a T-shirt? Does he have branding? I'm gonna buy all
We've been
his merch
telling
right
him
We've
now.
been
this for
trying to put him
years.
on
Working
shirts
on it.
forever.
It needs to happen.
All the criticisms just need to be a collection, and we're going to make it happen.
I guess. Well, you know, a lot that stuff isn't original, but
But if you say it enough,
if I say it
It's
enough,
yours.
it can be.
yeah,
Okay,
you can claim it.
I'll work on that.
All right.
But my whole thing is just like, no, you can. There is room for more. There is room for something better. Like everybody's experience in life, like your experience in life is what makes new art, being good, bad, and different. You know what I'm saying? This issue that I had, or this something that I went through, might, you know, give me this particular run that now it's become my run. You know what I'm saying? Karen Clark Sheard sounds different than Faith Evans. You know what I'm saying? There's a strong similarity, and I'm pretty sure Faith Evans was I'm speaking on vocals and
That's
musicians.
got
and things
you.
of
Oh, I'm
that
with
Be in
you.
your world.
I-
Be in your
yeah.
world.
That's my world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, you can hear parts of Karen Clark Sheard and Faith Evans, but Faith Evans still knows how to make it her own and put it into the R&B genre. The same thing with when it comes to cinema. Somebody, and the thing is, I'm pretty sure somebody has tipped their hat to this cat. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But just because somebody's not, they're tipping their hat and not kissing your tail, you know, get out your feelings.
I'm a add something to the tail end on that. And Chico, please feel free to jump in. In The Irishman, I kind of made I've kind of alluded to this. The whole thing of them using the de-aging of the older characters.
Right.
That's newer technology. That's newer experience. I mean, shout out to Full Sail University. I know we have some grads that worked on that movie. Hey, I love my sailors, man. I love my sailors.
They're
So
very talented.
I
Yes.
wanted to go to Full Sail.
oh, you would have had fun. I'm not gonna dredge that up for you. I'm
there's
sorry.
some stories.
I can't wait. You have to bring me back on so I can like.
Oh, we'll talk. We'll have some fun. But the whole thing of storytelling in cinema. I'm always going to fall back into storytelling in cinema. Sometimes you just have to do something to get that point across, and it might be an effect. I know that like some of the things that they do in movies now, they didn't do 10, 15, 20 years ago. I respect all the puppeteers that worked for Jim Henson that brought in puppetry, all the special effects guys, all that. I'm particular to sound, so all the sound engineers, the audio engineers, and all that. Everything's changed. Everything evolves because we find new ways to do the same thing that makes things either simpler, better, or more exciting or more engaging, whatever. And I can appreciate the idea of what something was and wanting to keep it whole and make sure that you just don't have a machine pumping out stuff all the time, all the time.
Right.
But on the flip side of things, if it wasn't for movies that are smaller, it wouldn't give room for movies that are bigger.
Indeed.
If it wasn't for movies that were extravagant, it wouldn't open up the things for the movies that take a long time to get to the end.
If it wasn't for movies that were considered bad, you know what I'm saying? There wouldn't be room for those that are considered to be, you know, stellar. Like
Special thanks to Vin Diesel.
everybody has its place.
Oh wow. That happened.
You are mad.
That really happened.
Family.
Okay.
Family.
He's never going to get an award. I feel bad.
But he
I
doesn't
don't know.
care.
Saying I am Groot takes a lot of concentration. I just want to throw that out there.
And we
in
can't
different
forget,
languages.
and we
In
can't,
different languages.
and
That's
we
a
can't
skill
forget
set.
we can't forget his fantastic
when I
performance
found
in
out
the giant
that was
robot
him-
or whatever it's called.
I was just like, what?
Hey, him and Sylvester Stallone have a career.
They do.
Yeah, short lines.
They do. They're a part of.
you know, he was the Iron Giant as well.
That's what I was saying. Vin Diesel was the
Diesel.
Iron Giant.
I think also it's interesting with the de-aging. The first film I ever saw that in, by the way, was X3, Last Stand,
Yep.
when they de-aged Xavier
Yep.
and Magneto. And I'm not saying it debuted there, but I think that was the one for me where it was just like, huh,
That was innovation.
that's they're gonna use that again.
Hmm.
You know.
It got me thinking of the XFL actually. For those of you that are sports fans or just like to watch some things of sports, Vince McMahon said one time in an interview that if it wasn't for the XFL, the NFL would not be what it is today. And I said, he's right. I didn't understand it at first, but then he made it very clear. A lot of their camera angles, they were the ones that introduced the floating cam that goes over the field. The whole thing of the sideline reporters, they took it up a notch. The whole thing of miking players, NFL didn't do it until the XFL did it. Like the whole thing, the industry will become something new when someone's brave enough to ask the question, "What if?"
What if? Or even like a more, this is probably a horrible example, but I think it's relevant. What Mad TV did for late night comedy. You know, I think prior to Mad TV, there was this line that no one wanted to cross, right? And then they come on and kill it. And to this day, some of their stuff is way better than Saturday Night Live. But Saturday Night Live was like, huh.
They took
Right.
Yep.
They took the
some
formula
elements,
and they're
yep.
still using it, you know, to this day. So it does take that one to, you know, take the risk and be like, okay, let me see what'll happen. And yeah, they're the better for it.
So let's close up on Martin's position.
I think he feels out of place.
I think that's a very fair thing to
Like,
say. That the
he's
industry's
known for
moving.
gangster movies and some thrillers and everything. So he's like, where am I in the superhero world, right?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure if he looked hard enough, he could find.
Oh,
his
I was going to get to that.
Right, I'm like,
Can you imagine if Scorsese did his version of Dick Tracy?
get out my head, dude. That's exactly where I was going with this. That's exactly where I was going
Would you
with this.
not go see that?
Oh God, do I want to put myself out here?
Go for it.
I'm gonna say it. So for me, I love the original Dick Tracy movie. It just,
Oh, I loved it too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I would want that, but I can also see how it could work with the Martin Scorsese, you know, vibe with it.
It'd be a lot more raw.
Yeah.
I didn't hear
It'd
what he
be
said.
dark.
I kind of fell into the idea if Scorsese did do an IP like that, like how could he butcher it? And I think he would butcher it by doing like a Scarface mashup with Dick Tracy. Like
Dick Tracy.
yeah.
And there were a lot of innuendos, by the way, with a lot of those characters, like Prune Face.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. I just don't even know.
Okay,
if
maybe.
that
Oh wait,
would
I
work.
need to rewatch.
Go ahead.
What was okay? Wait, what was the innuendos in with Dick Tracy?
Never mind. We'll talk off there.
Yeah.
That's another note.
Yes, write that note.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah, we can't. Our number one fan, we can't let him.
Yeah,
do
we
that type of stuff.
No problem.
we gotta consider our number one fan. Oh,
Did you just Google prune face?
No,
Oh.
but I just thought about it.
good job. Good job.
Okay.
You know, I think that would be a great idea. But even if he did like they're doing series now on HBO Max. If he did something with
That
Gotham,
would be a good home. That would be a good home for him.
Yeah.
yeah, I think he could. It would be amazing to see what he did with the genre.
Cool. So let's close it out. I'll start off with you, Chris. Is it a problem being a purist?
Yes, because you close yourself off to endless possibilities. You close yourself off, especially considering the fact that you've done things like, was it Goodfellas? Was he Goodfellas?
I believe so.
Was it Goodfellas? Goodfellas.
I'm sorry. Every time you say
Feathers is Animaniacs.
Fellas. Excuse my tongue. Pardon my tongue, ladies and gentlemen. Goodfellas.
But yes, he did Goodfellas.
Okay, he did
Yeah.
Goodfellas. Okay, great. Yeah, you could do that. You probably couldn't be bumping. I'm gonna say you probably couldn't show your racist the racist hands. That tend to play out, or the racist antics that tend to play out in some of those movies. There might be some backlash for that. But
You would
that's
have to
okay.
do it like what just happened in Peacemaker, where they acknowledge it, but they also acknowledge how it's problematic and ridiculous.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They would have to take that approach with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So look, there you go. You can do it. You too,
Mr. B. Anthony.
You too can enter the comic realm.
I really want his merch like yesterday. I just want to keep saying that until he
See?
does it.
See?
Yeah, a whole you.
Please
So-
continue.
I'm working.
I look at it this way. If you're a purist, you don't get Spike Lee and what he's done with those camera movements. You don't get Tim Burton and how he's found a way to take these weird imagery that you find in cartoons and paintings and his artistic flair and made it into film to a point now where it's its own thing. I think that's the whole point of filmmaking. That it's supposed to evolve, it's supposed to grow. Nothing is supposed to be the same, or else you're gonna get a lot of things that probably what potentially could happen to the comic book genre, which is why you have to keep putting out different things, where it just becomes too predictable. And I'll stop there because I was about to talk about a movie, and I said I was going to let that movie go. But my God, Eternals, that was too different. That was just
Didn't
too.
you say in your last show that you were gonna let it go?
I did say that, and I've been going to therapy about it. But here's the thing, like, I tried. I watched it the other day on Disney Plus, and I'm just like, what? Okay, I'm done.
All
I'm
right.
done.
I'll save you. Chico.
I'm sorry.
So, purist eventually leads to gatekeeping, and I don't have time for any
That
of that.
part.
So, yeah,
That
no.
part.
And I'll piggyback on that to say ditto, because I feel exactly the same way.
Do you guys think that Feige will eventually kind of lose the pureness of his love for comic book films and join quote unquote the establishment? Because I do worry about that with him. Like, he's had so many wins with Marvel that
That's
do
a
you
good
think he'll kind
question.
of lose his genuine fandom for what he's doing and
Me-
just treat it as a business?
Me personally, I say no. Like,
Okay.
creators are creators. I think the thing that kind of gets in the way, I hate to say it, but I think most of the time it's like 70% true. I think the thing that gets in the way is money.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you can be as creative as you want to be up to the point where your pockets run dry. Then you got to figure it out. So that's kind of what I think. I think you're as creative as you can be up to the point where your resources get tapped, and then you got to kind of figure out like what's my next step? How am I going to eat?
What are the cool kids doing? What's hip?
Talking about the person who feels that things aren't hip enough, let's move to our last director,
Dun, 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 dun.
Mr. Ridley Scott. So I'm just gonna read the headline from IndieWire, and I will be censoring myself on this because I now that we're on the podcast directory, I want to be as free as I can, but I can't. So, but I am gonna give myself a censor for this. So, perfect headline: Ridley Scott slams superhero movies, boring as with scripts that aren't any good.
So are we gonna ignore the last Alien movie that he did? Is
Thank
that
you.
what we're doing, Ridley?
Thank you.
Because the only thing I got from that was,
You were bored.
yeah, I just felt like, what I felt? I felt the same way that I did when I saw the last Matrix movie. You had something that you did and it worked,
Oh,
it's something that was good. And I love The Matrix. The Matrix is like the original one of my favorite films of all time. But I also feel like, in a way, you take your audience for granted with these IPs, and when it doesn't hit, doesn't work because of what you did 20 years ago, then you get salty. You know, even the one that the prequel that he did, with
Prometheus.
Idris Elba and Charlize Theron.
What, that wasn't Prometheus?
Prometheus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prometheus.
Yeah.
Even with Prometheus, I felt like, okay, you were going for something. There were some interesting things there, but I don't know if what you were trying to accomplish, if it held on.
That needed
But
follow-ups.
it has. Say it again.
It needed follow-ups.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
It was too much of a one-off.
Yeah, if they had like, it's been too much time now that you're just like, okay, so what now?
Right.
Yeah. And I just remember watching that, and like the only thing I'm getting from this is that they had sex and created an alien baby.
Right.
And
And now we're going to the alien world or whatever to see
Yeah.
Where the
these
babies
gods
came from.
Right, where these gods came from
They gonna
with
go
the
to
new
the
baby
nurseries.
hybrid in the back seat.
with the
And
right.
So
And then,
The
the
alien
got
robot,
nothing. Right.
the android gets mad at the world and decides to, have an experiment and spike the punch. It was just one of those things where it's like, okay,
They really left
what?
that it was a cliffhanger that they left on us. And
Yeah.
Well, they. Well, I'm not even going to defend Ridley. But I will say.
Now, I think he's brilliant, though. I think listening to him talk on the Directors Guild podcast about his films and his view, I get what he's doing now that I've heard that conversation, which is he's giving commentary on, from what I understand, technology and the dangers of, what the future could bring with all these experimentations. I get all that. I think that's great. I think that's brilliant. But I also think, going back to the other two that we talked about, you just have to be fair and understand that if it doesn't connect, then there are other ways to make it work. You just have to find that platform.
Okay, the thing that I would love for everyone to give their thoughts on is the comment about the scripts. And I'm gonna easily say that I don't feel that the Alien movies were like Shakespeare. So comics are one of those mediums where you get some really big SAT words. Like you can really boost your vocabulary reading some of this science fiction. I'm not so sure Ridley Scott has written an opus in his movies to come for the position to say that these movies have scripts that, quote, aren't any effing good.
Sir,
Say it.
so here's my thing.
Oh, he didn't.
He didn't give you a good one. Another one's coming.
it's coming.
I mean, my whole thing is just like stay in your lane, because my whole thing is like, okay, sir, it's not like you don't have you read the comic? Have you opened the book? Have you opened the book? Have you compared the book to the script? Because the thing is, what happens is a lot of these scripts are based off of the scripts are based off of sometimes it's based off of it comes directly from the
You get
comic.
screenwriters to reinterpret
Right.
source material.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of times they do things to make it modern. Sugar, I don't see you. Like I don't where, like you said, what from Aliens is hitting like that.
Like the line, my favorite line is not the most creative one of saying game over. So
Okay.
and that came out of video games, so that's just that.
From
But please
Aliens?
continue. Yeah. Game over, man. Game over. And silence has
mean,
beget the room.
Like, but you would like, okay, so I don't know.
Go ahead. Say
Sir.
shit.
No, it's just like, dude, who are you to talk about what somebody's writing? Like, you don't even. I can see if you were a comic enthusiast and you were like, you know what, the script, is way off from from what the comic books wrote, and this, that, and the third. Sir, this is not even what you're into. It's not what you're into. That's like somebody.
Comic
I
book
can't. No,
enthusiast.
I'm sorry. I can't compare. I can't talk about that because our number one fan is watching.
Yes. We always have to keep in mind our number one fan.
We have to keep in mind our number one fan. Okay, so
Well, time out. Okay, B. So here's the thing. My
Thank you so much, because I was going to
Yeah,
ask what
it was.
happening.
We were going to
It's fine.
explain it eventually.
It's fine.
my godson watches us religiously.
Oh, okay.
And how old is LJ now?
Old enough, but not old enough.
he ain't
Has he-
14.
No,
He ain't 14 yet.
he is 13 though, right?
He's a teenager.
He's
he's a
a teenager now. But yeah, he's been
But
watching
I don't
us.
want him to Google what
Right.
I was about.
Oh,
to
he's
say.
not gonna Google it. He's gonna ask his
He's
father.
going to ask his father.
And then I'm gonna have a text from his father the next day.
And then he's going to hit me up on Messenger as well.
Yeah,
Nah, I can't.
like why y'all do that?
Because
Well, he
okay,
won't do that
so
to me. but,
okay,
yeah.
how can I say this? Okay, if you don't go to the Play Store, right? Like if you don't go to the toy store, right? If you don't frequent in the toy store, right? How can you? And if you're strictly in the clothing store, right? This is the Play Store, the toy store. So how can you talk about, these, I don't like these toys, right? These toys aren't functional. I don't like how these toys. I think you might be getting what I'm saying. Where I was going with when it comes to toys, but if you don't frequent in the toy store, how can you talk about toys? You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? How can you talk about how the toys function and this, that, and the third?
I can't follow you on that because they're too abstract. I'm gonna
Basically,
ask, no. I understand what he's saying.
No translation.
Yeah, no translation needed in this one. I think the comparison is a bit off because it's not apples to oranges. At least not the way I see it. I see it as a Fiji apple. It's Fiji, right? Mm-hmm. And then a Honeycrisp apple. They're both apples. They're just different types of apples. Get what I'm saying? I don't think it's so far of a stretch that it's like, who are you to talk about toys when you're in the men's clothing section? I think it's more like you have an ugly tie, they have an ugly tie, but you're saying that ugly tie is uglier than your tie. They're both ties. Like him talking about a movie.
I was talking about FAO Swords versus.
J.C. Penney.
No, it's another type of toy store.
Oh,
Oh,
Sex toy store, is that what we're doing?
yeah. that's
Okay.
what we're-
yeah.
I,
can say that
Now
word.
we're picking up. We're all. I think we're all picking up what you're putting down. So please, if you want to, so if you want to, please finish.
You wasn't ready for him to be that blunt, huh?
oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was still operating in the safe zone. But yeah.
That's fun. I'm glad that happened. That's fun.
Yeah, but yeah, like you
Chris
know,
speechless.
Steph, stay at FAL Swartz, and I'll go over here. Like, well, I'll have my scene. You have your train setting over there, and then I'll be over here. Shout out to Dame Sadie. Happy birthday, love you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Now we
but
gotta make sure that
yeah,
she watches so she knows who we say.
Right, I know, right? But we'll see this scene played out at this store. You know what I'm saying? They're both toy stores, but different things happen there.
Different types of toys.
It's different types of toys and different things happen there.
Different types of trains.
Different types of trains.
Different types of trains.
Yes. You have your train set that goes around the teddy bears and everything. We have a different type of train and a different type of teddy bear. Like,
But there's all connection.
it's
all
all
connected.
connected. Thank you. Thank you. And there you have it. And there you have it.
Oh, so much fun. I am having a ball.
There you have it.
Okay. I
just
think,
want to point out too, by the way, that some of the best writing I have seen has been in comic book films. And the stories have been very good. Man of Steel, I thought that was done very well writing wise. All of the Captain America films, I think, have been good
Winter Soldier
as far as writing.
was really good.
WandaVision had one of the best lines, and I hated that show. But one of the best lines from when they were talking about what grief is. And when Vision delivered that line, it's the power or something to move on. That pricked my heart right away, you know. So I just don't think that critique makes sense when you really look at what's been produced lately.
Because there are always lessons to be learned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are lessons to be learned in both genres. I mean, I really didn't learn a lesson from Aliens, but you know,
Yes,
watch
you
what you
did.
eat, and you know, somebody
You
might get
did learn a
pregnant.
lesson.
But
Yeah, stay on Earth.
You learned that games
I mean, that's
can
the
be
number
over.
one thing right there.
you know, the game can be over.
Yes,
Games can be over.
You learned that.
But yet, I learned so much more in a comic book movie. No shade, but catch it. So, yeah, you know.
Here's my thing with
Go
it.
go for it.
So
Go for it, Chico.
you got these really great thrillers. Very, very little dialogue in these thrillers. Like the whole point in them is
You're deeping on the
Shoot 'em up, bang,
suspense.
bang.
Yeah.
the jump scares.
Yeah.
Got you.
Thrills.
Yeah.
Seeing if you can spot the aliens in the background.
Right.
I will, and the more dialogue he added to the next movies, the more downhill they got.
Yeah.
Now,
After the second one.
right after the second one. Now, having actually read the Alien comic books, I'm gonna need to know why their stories are better.
Oh, well, that happened.
Well.
That happened. Shots fired.
Well.
Yeah.
And on that note, since we don't have a direct line to Ridley to ask the question, I think we'll just end the show there.
And then even I've watched I watched the playthrough video games.
Yeah. Oh, the Isolation is
Yes.
great, and Fireteam is good too. Ah, man, I don't know if you guys will play that with me, but
How is it I will sit there and watch that before I go back to watch the other ones?
that's a sad state of affairs. But it's a good
And I
break for
like
us.
the Alien movies a lot. So
I'm gonna cut us off right there.
I played the
We're
video
right on
game
time.
back in the 90s.
So
oh, you need to play the new one.
full circle, and I'm gonna end off with Anthony last. These directors have all stepped out into the world to say that comic book movies are not good for the industry. Going around the table, Chris, last thoughts.
Don't step into the world that ain't looking for you or checking for you until you have
I love
something to
that.
offer.
I'm here for all of it.
If
for
no
all
one's
of it.
checking for you, keep it cute and put it on mute. Like,
There's your shirt.
I mean,
There's the shirt right there. Someone make that for me,
I
please.
mean,
And Chico, final thoughts.
Go to a comic book store. Find one you like. Try to do a screenplay for it.
you can do it.
Be Anthony.
I'm going to leave with the thought that I learned in my producing program at American University.
Shout out.
for screenwriting, which has stuck with me. There is no such thing as an original idea. What makes it original is the execution of that idea. And so,
And there's your shirt.
all of it is relative. You'll see the same thing on screen 50 times, but what helps is the director's eye perspective. What is it that they want to focus on this time? And people will pay to see a good story. And theaters will make room for other types of films, but sometimes you just have to go with the ebbs and flows of where the industry is right now. And right now, it's with IPs, and that's inclusive of books, comic books, video games, now TV series that's starting to make a little comeback, a little, So I think just get in where you fit in. But there's room for us all.
And I'll end off with saying, ditto. All the good things have already been said. I have nothing to add. So, let's wrap our show. Thank you all for watching and listening. This has been so much fun. I feel like I'm back in my radio days. This was so much fun today.
Yeah, you just been giggling this whole
It was
show.
so much fun. I had to do like hardly any work. I love it. So if you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell so that way you get alerted every time we have something new that comes up. If you're on the podcast directory, subscribe on your favorite application. If you're on Apple, of course, use that podcast app, Stitcher. What else are we on?
Stitcher, Spotify,
Apple, iHeart, Pandora. You name it, you put ILNL or I Love Learn Life, you could find it. Download. So, round robin.
Oh, no, whoa.
Wait, what did I miss? Oh,
B. Anthony.
Well, no. I'm doing that for last.
What?
Shout out for the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing that for last. Actually, no. That's just a good spot. Yes, and the B6 podcast. Please make sure you subscribe.
And let them know where they can find you.
Give all the things.
Yeah, so I'm on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you podcast. And my IG is at BSignal Podcast. You can go to the website, thebsignalpodcast.com. And if you just want to see some of the stuff that I've worked on, you can go to my Instagram at BAnthonyCG. And yeah, that's it.
Cool. Now I can properly close it out.
Oh, wait. Time out. Don't you have a movie? Didn't you do a movie?
Yeah, that's on the website. My last short film was entitled My Empty Space. 13 minutes long.
Okay.
So manage your expectations. But
oh man, it's
Look,
not a Scorsese
no,
epic
because
10-hour
I don't
film.
want people to come for me. You had an opinion and you made this, and then it's just going
And
to be,
I did.
No, right, I did. But I'm grateful because I made that film after my grandmother passed. And so it was my way of grieving. It wasn't as exciting as WandaVision. I didn't make a superficial world out of DC or anything like that. But I made it based out of a home where she lived. And the film was acknowledged at 3 film festivals.
Very cool.
Within Maryland. And so when that happened, I was like, okay, maybe this isn't a fluke. Maybe I'm on the right path.
Nice.
So it's been a cool experience. I'm currently writing a couple of things right now just to see which one I really want to put my energy towards. So I'm doing that, and I'm about to launch a web series that's pretty bold for me. And hopefully it'll help people. So yeah.
Very cool. All right, so now I'm going to properly close out the show.
There you go.
Thank you very much. For Chris.
Peace.
For B. Anthony.
Say goodbye.
Cha-ching.
Love it. I love throwing on the spot. I just want to see what's going to happen. All right, for Chico.
Nanu.
For Kristen and Tanisha and myself for Tim. Wow, I put myself in the third person.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, it's all good.
It worked for The Rock. You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh. with all that being said, thank you for watching and listening. As always, this is ILNL. Good job. Snaps all around.
You paused it.
No.
He said he had to go get his glasses.
Yeah, and that's why I started off with saying that.
You know what?
All right, here we go.
That was fun.
So the hey was Bill Cosby, right?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Clock that.
So
Why did I go to Robin Thicke? I was like, what did Robin Thicke do? Like,
Yeah.
wrong hey.
Well, at first I was thinking Fat Albert, and then it went back. I was like, oh
Right.
wait,
When he said,
Bill.
when he said, at first I thought Fat Albert, I'm like, wait, Bill Cosby.